Nick Fuentes, man.
I gotta ask, Nick, how do you feel when you see a black guy just getting with the snow bunnies? Like, is that something that like rustles your jimmies?
She's gonna get BBC'd, Nick. Your white girl's gonna get BBC'd.
Well, the problem is, all these white girls always end up getting their ass kicked and left behind. That's what typically happens.
What are you talking about?
Wait, get an ass kicked by who?
What?
Are you ass kicked by who?
My black boyfriend.
Oh, okay. So you trying to say we out here beating these white women? Is that what you're trying to say?
Well, I mean, that is something that happens. Maybe not you guys. You guys.
Nigga, this is your friend?
I just met him on stream. But JiDion, one thing I'm gonna say, you're reading the Malcolm X book right now. You know who else was against interracial marriages?
Malcolm X.
Yeah.
So he's saying that's
that's not the point that I'm worried. The fact is that he's blaming all black guys for beating white girls.
No, he's saying they very likely to. You know what I mean? They might just be like, yo, what the fuck is this chicken? You didn't season it properly, and they whoop their asses. That's what he's trying to say. He's not saying all of us do. He's saying a lot of us.
And JiDion, I don't agree with what he's saying, but at the same time, I think it's the equivalent of when black people say that white people shoot up schools. It's the same type of stereotype. So I like Nick's racism. I like that he could be honest and as racist as black people can be racist.
This is the first time I've ever heard someone say that black people beat white girlfriends. Like, I've never heard this before ever.
That's the traditional. That's what white people. That's what white people.
His girl was black. His girl's not even white.
What they do? Well, I guess black, white. That's it's something that happens. I covered a story about this on my show a couple weeks ago, but that's not the only thing. Here's the thing. I'm halfway kidding about that. The thing is, and I was explaining this to Sneako.
Halfway.
Is what?
Halfway.
Halfway. Here you go. The thing is I value my identity, and I also have a view of sexuality that I'm Catholic, so I think that people should get married before they have sex, and they should have sex to have kids. And so I want to meet a wife, and I want to marry her and have kids, and I want my wife and I want my kids to reflect my identity. And that's something that's important to me. My heritage is important to me. My identity is important to me.
Wait, what's your heritage? What's your identity?
I'm half Italian, I'm a quarter Irish, and I'm a quarter Mexican.
So which quarter are you going to meet somebody who's like identically that, or just like a half Italian is good enough?
No, not necessarily, but preferably someone who's Italian, preferably someone who's just white and Catholic, someone who's going to look like me, and generally, I don't think it needs to get too precise, but obviously if I married a black girl and I had like a black kid, it's like, I'm not black, so, and I would look at my son and not really be able to identify in that way.
Okay.
And
I want to ask you a question. Do you identify more with your religious side or your racial side?
Probably, well, I think, the thing is about people's identities is that people's identities are complex. So it's not so much to say, oh, well, I'm more Catholic than I am white. I mean, I'm both. I'm Catholic and I'm white. But to me, Catholicism, that's a foundation of my worldview.
Okay, so if you met a black woman who was a Catholic, or an Irish or an Italian woman who was like Buddhist, which one, if you had to pick between the two, which one would you marry?
Well, I would marry neither. But if I had to marry one, that's a tricky question. I don't know.
Come on! You just said your religion is more foundational. Come on, bro.
Well, but here's the thing. I mean, that's true. And as a Catholic, I should say the Catholic, but I want to have a kid with green eyes like me. I want to have a kid with my white face. I don't want to have a kid.
Well, you're Mexican. You have Mexican in you.
Okay, but I have brown hair. I have white skin.
You know what I realize about white people?
Bro, you know how many light-skinned Mexican people I know?
Yeah, okay. Well, the point being is I want to marry someone that looks like me. That's a very human thing.
But is it that you want someone you married that looks like you, or is the ideal person you want to be with is white because you're not fully white?
White people want to be with somebody that looks like their sister, low-key. They always get together, like, if you look...
No. Listen. This fucking Sneako is retarded. If you're white and you have a kid with a black woman, the child is gonna be mixed. Simple as that. He is not gonna look like you or your wife. And think about it. If everybody will mix themselves with other cultures and ethnicities, who's Greek? Who's Italian? Who's American? Who's French? Who's British? If everybody mixed up, the next step will be, let's mix all nations and countries. And let's become all one. And what? Lose everything? Lose our history? Lose our different cultures? What's the point?
at most white couples, they kind of look like siblings.
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of crazy.
Well,
You
and
can
the
think
thing
of a lot
is,
of them.
it's
You can think of a lot. Chad, am I right? WRL, I know a lot of white couples that low-key like, are you guys related?
Ow.
But hold on, I gotta ask. So this is my thing, right? You say that your religious side is foundational to you. You're a soldier of Jesus. You're ready to bang for the cross, whatever. But then you telling me you gonna choose somebody over the skin color over religion. I start to question your priorities because it don't sound like what you were saying before.
well, like I said, I wouldn't marry either. If forced to pick, it would be a difficult question because you're right. Like as a Catholic, I should say probably, I would marry the Catholic black woman.
Just say it. Come on, bro. Just say it. Say you get with the black woman who shares your cultural and religious values.
No.
Bro, come on, get that black juice.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, I just want you to raise children that are also soldiers of God. That's the most important thing in this.
But she's a God-fearing black bro. No one loves God more than the black woman. My grandma loved God. My mama loved God. The black queen in the future is gonna love God. Get you a black queen, bro.
Hey, here's the
BLM
thing.
in the chat.
Here's the thing. I cut a lot of black. I said this on my show. I'm attracted to Asian girls or black girls or things like that. But it's about my priority is trying to create a family. And the thing is, like, it's true that I have ideals and I have religion, but also I have an identity as a flesh and blood person. And this is the problem, in my opinion, with society, that we want to make everything about ideas and everything is about this, our constructed identities. And like when we talk about America, we say America is an idea and it's about, what are your cultural beliefs? What's your culture? And all of that matters. But we also are at the same time human beings, and we're real physical people in the world with like a definite physical characteristics and definite genetic characteristics. And those things actually matter too, as we're finding out. And so, does my religion matter to me? Yeah, more than anything. But also, I am a man and I am a white man, or I'm an Italian, Mexican, Irish man as well. And those things matter too. I'm what?
You're more white than Catholic.
Well, I'm both. That's the thing. Both of those things are part of it.
Can you educate JiDion on... JiDion keeps saying WBLM. He doesn't know that BLM is a scam. Can you tell him about that? Because I'm getting sick of him yelling WBLM. Yo, JiDion, that's some bot shit that you got to stop saying. BLM is a fucking scam,
I don't
bro.
think, you see, you're so surface level. Like, I didn't even agree with the protest, bro. Me personally,
so why are you
I
saying
feel like...
WBLM?
Bro, wait, shut the... Bro, I'm just saying that. But me personally, I feel like the Black Lives Matter protests were the biggest wasted opportunity in Black American history, because out of any time in American history, when you galvanize that many people, you can make the biggest change.
So why are you saying WBLM?
Oh, shut up. Let me finish. What I'm saying is, I feel like throughout those protests, I think the only bill that was ratified was like a George Floyd bill that to this day, Joe Biden has yet to sign. But there's been an Asian Lives Matter bill after the fact that has been signed, and I feel like there's been an LGBTQ bill that has been signed after the fact. So I feel like the George Floyd protest was the most wasted opportunity in Black American history.
Okay, so why
we could have changed so much.
So why are you saying WBLM?
The way, like you say, oh man, you gotta keep the chat lit, man. You know how to galvanize the people, man. Like,
okay,
bro.
so you're just hyping it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's being provocative.
Don't hype up my chat with that fucking scam. Do you know where all the money for BLM went?
Bro, my nigga, I'm not stupid, bro. No, I feel like you if this nigga, if you think I'm just some like liberal, like
yeah, sometimes. After Pokey made it, I can't even lie to you. Yo, Nick, can you tell them about the bell curve? Can you tell them what you said to me? That was the first time I ever heard a white dude say that. What do you think about the IQ thing? This is gonna fucking shake it up.
Yeah, you guys aren't gonna like this, but I just want to preface this by saying this, okay? I love all people, okay? I'm a friend to all people.
Oh, you know some crazy shit.
I love black people, okay? I love Hispanics, I love Asians, but here's the thing.
Where this is going. Whenever this starts off like that, you know where it's going.
You know where it's going, okay? And I told Sneako this, we call this race realism, okay, which is to say that race is real. Like it's not fake, it's not skin deep, race is real. There are different races and there's meaningful differences. And one of the things is that on average, the races have different IQs. And so on average, Asians have the highest IQ, and on average, blacks have the lowest IQ.
Yeah.
That's what I told Sneako. And no, that's average, okay? I'm not saying Black people are dumb. I'm not saying that.
Kinda.
I'm saying that when you
You're kinda
average it
saying
out,
that. You're kind of saying that.
I'm not. I'm saying on average. Well, I'm saying on average. On average, there's differences between the IQs. So I believe there are black geniuses like Kanye West. I think he's a black genius. But there's fewer black geniuses than there are Asian geniuses, as an example.
Okay.
That's. I don't think that's too
So,
bad.
I would just ask, why do you think that information is important?
Well, here's why. That's actually a really good question. Because I don't say that like proudly, because I think that actually it's a fact of nature, which is kind of sad in a way. I think human inequality is sort of tragic in some sense. Like you look on TikTok in this example, and TikTok is like the worst. It's like the worst window to human inequality there is, because you could scroll through TikTok and see the most beautiful person ever, rich and objectively beautiful, and they're getting all this fame and all these likes, and then you scroll up and then you see like a deformed person who's like, they have roaches on their wall and they're like, you know, and it's like, that's actually kind of a tragic and sad thing. And anyway, so I think human inequality as a whole is unfortunate, but here's why it matters. When you look at all of the disparities in the United States as an example, you look at income inequality between the races, wealth inequality between the races, and all these other inequalities, people will say, well, if we're all starting from the same place but ending up in a different place, what happened in the middle? Racism probably, or something. If whites and blacks and Asians and Hispanics are all the same and they all start out from the same, starting point, but they all end up wildly unequal, well, something must happen along the way. Discrimination, racist policies, etc. Well, if people are not starting from the same place, then that would explain how a system which may even have affirmative action or maybe, the opposite of racist would still be producing unequal results. We have to understand this if we want to create policies where the country can be coherent and harmonious and where everybody is treated fairly. So that's my belief. If we want to understand the world, can't understand without understanding the reality of race and what that means.
Got it.
Do you think there's a superior race?
No, I don't. I don't think there's superior people. I think that people are unequal.
Well, hold on, but he thinks some people intrinsically have higher IQ than other people, to be honest. So he would say that, on average, all else equal, a white person will be smarter than a black person.
Yes.
It's true.
Wait, I need to hear Nick say it.
So hold on. And this is always what leftists do. We're not racist, okay? We love black people, but the average IQ in Africa is 70. Let's pretend it's not. Let's not talk about it. Bro, we're not saying anything bad about it. We're just saying that fact, okay?
Believes that.
Destiny,
just so we're all on the
have
same
you
page.
mentioned JiDion before? JiDion, Destiny?
What's up, Destiny?
Okay.
Yeah.
I love stealing your content on stream.
We're just letting you know, on behalf of the black delegation, we've elected Destiny to speak on this matter.
Yeah, thanks, Okay, well, before
Don't do any liberal racism, though. You got this.
I'm a huge liberal racist, okay? But I'm racist towards all people, so we're good. Okay, just before we jump into this, okay? I just be clear about who you're talking to, what the goal of the conversation is, okay? Nick has a political movement, a political ideology. His goal is not to sell you truth or to sell you a critical thought process. His goal is to sell you his political ideology. So if he comes across some idea that's contrary to what he believes, or some thought or fact that is contrary to his belief system, he's not going to tell you that, and he's not going to incorporate it into his world. He's only going to give you the pieces of information that he uses to sell his ideology. I think sometimes we're so hungry to talk to people that disagree with us, we think that everybody has valid things to say. Everybody's got valid points to consider, but you have to keep in mind what they're selling you at the end of the day. If I was to have a conversation with Nick about the value of, what do you think about, the soft sciences? What do you think about, psychologists and political scientists, Nick, in general?
Me?
Yeah.
I think there's some validity to them, but I don't put a lot of stock in empiricism.
Sure, so he doesn't put a lot of stock in those things, okay? The bell curve was written by a psychologist and a political scientist. These aren't genetics researchers. These aren't intelligence researchers. These aren't people that did huge dives into meta. It absolutely is true. Charles Murray is a political scientist, and Richard Bernstein is a psychologist. That's fine, we're not talking about, but I'm just saying that the book, The Bell Curve, if that book was about any other topic, you would dismiss it so quickly because of the scientific disciplines that those authors come from, you wouldn't even consider for a second.
That's not true.
It absolutely is true, and you know it. But because you just told me that you didn't put much stock in those disciplines.
I said I didn't put stock in empiricism. I said I don't put as much stock in empiricism as you do, because you believe that everything is attributable to empirical knowledge, and everything should be derived from studies. I don't believe that all truth is derived from studies. I think we could derive truth from experience, and I think we could derive truth from logic, and we could could recognize patterns. I don't think that we necessarily need to go and this is what you and Vosh and Hunter Avalon do is study, show me a source, show me a study. And I think that studies can aid understanding, but I don't think that's the end all be all of knowledge. That's what I'm saying. And you're wrong about if I thought that race and IQ was a wrong argument, I wouldn't push it. I wish it was wrong. I've had my entire life destroyed because I say these things. You think I'm saying these things because it's like doing me a big favor? I'm banned from airlines and banks. I'm under investigation by the FBI, subpoenaed by Congress, in part because I say these kinds of things. So no, I go where the truth leads me. I'm a critical person. If you were to present to me an answer for why, when the Europeans colonized Africa in the late 19th century, they didn't have written language and they didn't have the wheel, and like why that is consistent with everybody evolving exactly the same way and everyone being exactly the same, I would probably be an egalitarian like you. But
no, it's just the idea is that, like, if there's differences between large groups of people throughout all of human history, the default position is to not know. You're the one that's asserting the positive claim of, oh, well, it must be because of biology. But we don't know that. Nobody knows that. There are different, like, indicators that, like, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. But to pretend that we have one grand narrative that can explain the differences between all the groups in all of human history, you're not going to find any academic discipline that's going to come together and agree on that. These are all hotly contested topics. That's all I'm saying.
Nick,
and also, when you say, I notice that people like you, sorry, and I'll shut the fuck up. People like you will always say things like, oh, like, you just want to see study. But I'm a man of truth and experience and logic, and I recognize patterns. Bro, a pattern for a human is you have, like, 2 bad experiences with somebody, you write them off completely. That's not going to get you towards truth with a capital T. That's just going to tell us your subjective frame of reference, right? Like, you might eat like 2, rotten pieces of fish and tell everybody that fish is the worst food in the world. That's no more truthful than viewing a study on something, or it's even less truthful, right? I don't like this. I don't like this hand waving of like all of the empirical data or all of the studies we can do to just say like, oh, well, I have my own experience, because you can go down so many stupid roads with that. Like, obviously, everybody's seen somebody do it.
Nick, who do you think is going to win the race war? Blacks or whites?
Well, unfortunately for
depends on
us,
who the Jews side with.
Well, there's some truth in that, but unfortunately for us, by 2100, the world is going to be full of Africans. I mean, by 2100, it's going to be 10 billion people, and 5 billion of them are going to be Black Africans. So I don't think, and frankly, I don't think any of us are going to win in that scenario, because the biggest content is going to be sub-Saharan Africa. And it's going to be like World War Z. They're just going to... You notice that scene in World War Z when the zombies are climbing on top of each other to get into Jerusalem? That's what it's going to be like in America and Europe with this population explosion happening there.
So there's going to be a bunch of African people acting like ants climbing up over each other.
Yeah, trying to get into Western countries.
Yo, Destiny, who are you fighting for, blacks or whites?
Dude, I'm not going to fight for a fucking race, dog.
He's going to be off to the side streaming it in the corner while there's a war going
Bro,
on.
Destiny, we're going to draft you in to the black side, bro. You can be with us.
As long as I get an N-word pass, we're good. Okay, I'll fight for it. No, there's not even the idea even of race wars following on those exact lines. I thought there was a really funny question earlier. I don't know if JiDion or Sneako asked it. When you asked Nick, what kind of a woman are you looking for? Are you looking for like a 50% Italian, 25%?
That was Abba.
That was me, bro. You can't recognize who it is.
Let me give my credit. I had a 2 out of 3 chance. Okay, you did it. Okay, yeah. Abba asked a question earlier. Yeah, like, what do you even look for? What does it even mean to be black in the United States, right? You've got, like, African Americans, people that immigrate from fucking Kenya or Nigeria. They don't consider themselves black in the same way that, like, descendants of slaves are black. Nick doesn't consider himself white the same way that, like, somebody that's ethnically fucking Russian or German or Scandinavian considers themselves white. Like, these are, like, super subjective concepts.
You just obfuscate. All you do is obfuscate. We know what black people are, bro.
Yeah.
We can look at people and say,
that's not true, bro. Look at a picture of Obama when he visits Africa.
He's black, Barack Obama.
Dude, you can clearly see...
There's different white people, there's different Asian people,
you can clearly see a difference. There are clear differences in this. It's not... You say that I'm obfuscating, but the reality is...
What the fuck? There's different white people, different... Yeah, they're still white, they're still Asian, they're still black. A black from Africa is not the same as a Jamaican, for example, but where do you think Jamaicans come from? Africa, obviously, like Americans. America was founded by white Europeans. It's the same people.
Complicated. And even you acknowledge that when you're like, well, I'm 50% Irish and I'm 25% Italian and I'm 25% Hispanic, but it's the mestizo Hispanic, so it's more white than white. Like, of course it's complicated.
Do you think that me, okay, I have white skin, I have green eyes, I have curly brown hair. Do you think that if I walked into Little Village in Chicago where they're all 5'5" and brown skin and black hair and said, hola, amigos, can I have some tacos? Do you think they would recognize me as one of their own and say, "Ah, yes, a Mexican. Welcome to the neighborhood"? No, they'd be like, "What's this gringo doing here?"
I mean,
it's
it depends.
Not as difficult
To
as you're
quote
making it
the
out
great
to be.
philosopher Sneako, what on that fucking intro video in your channel? I think you mentioned that like people when you were you in Peru? I don't remember where you were, but people would walk up to you and speak English because they'd instantly assume you were American because they could tell by looking at you, right?
Yeah, because it's not Peruvian.
Yeah.
What the
I know,
fuck?
but even in Brazil.
Yeah,
even in
or when you go to fucking the UK, like you can tell like who's American or who's British. I'm not saying that you're gonna walk into a fucking project in Chicago and be welcomed with open arms. Obviously, you're hitting at like extremes there. But like, I mean, different people look different ways. It's not just like you can't fit everybody into black, brown, white, Asian. Like it's not that clean.
Bro.
It's
I
never
don't
gonna be
think
that
anybody's
clean.
saying that you could say absolutely, because there are people that are mixed race, but the existence of mixed race people who are racially ambiguous does not negate the existence of the races. In fact, it almost confirms them because they're two races together. That's what makes them ambiguous.
You don't
there
even,
are
like,
Japanese
what race
people. There
like
are
you
Chinese
couldn't point
people.
out like accurately like races or percentages even in this room. Like it's obviously it's more complicated than
You're
that.
telling me that I couldn't look at I could say Sneako is mixed race. I could say
Yeah, what does that even
JiDion
mean? You're
and
mixed race.
Emma are black.
You're mixed race.
I could say that you're white and I'm
You're
white,
mixed.
and that's
You're
not
mixed
difficult.
race.
That's
You got curly brown hair. Like, your last name is
every
Fuentes.
person-
Like, come on.
Every person in this call right now is easily recognizable by their race. We don't need to pull up their 23andMe to say that there are two black people.
Hey,
a
I'm
mixed race person.
actually, I'm not gonna lie, man. If you would have told me you were mixed with like a bit of black or a bit of Asian, I would have believed you, Nick.
Me,
bro,
oh, if I was
Nick, you got a little bit
Yeah,
of
like you could definitely have a 25-50%. I could see it.
Nick, but it's like so like surface level. Just like what does being black mean? What does being white mean?
Oh, we
You
go
know?
deeper.
Like
Well,
you're looking at it so surface level.
Well, here's the thing about race.
That's your favorite thing to say,
Yes.
man.
What is
Yeah, he
is
says
surface
something that's
level?
surface level. That's his
Oh.
best way to big bro somebody. Just it's surface level.
Is it not? Like,
It's
I'm black. What does that mean? I'm black. That's a fucking color. Black is a color. I'm not black. Like, black is this is black.
Yo, thanks,
I'm not
Brandon.
fucking black. Like, but we just say black.
Point being
Bro.
is that you're descended from people that come from Africa. And you could say, well, what does white mean? Well, white means descended from people that come from Europe. And you're right. It's
Yes.
not. It's
Where
not,
did the Europeans come from? I mean, technically, aren't we all descended from Africa?
No.
If you want to get technical about it.
Hey, Destiny,
That's
you can say the N-word.
yes,
Think
right.
about it. Destiny, say the N-word. Destiny, say the N-word right now.
Whoa,
Why?
whoa,
What the
whoa,
fuck?
whoa,
Chill.
Whoa.
Pussy.
Whoa. Let's bring it back. Let's bring it back.
You know what I mean?
Jesus.
No, I said Destiny
What?
say the N-word. He wants to so bad. Just
No,
one
I
time.
don't.
One
Chill,
time.
damn.
One time.
Oh, I thought you.
One
I
time
only
for
do that
the
when I have my
stream.
cozy stream on. Okay, chill.
Wait,
Holy
okay, so this is what I'm trying to figure out. Like, I'm not gonna lie, Nick is saying some crazy stuff, but he's not saying anything to the fact that he's gonna be banned from banks or airlines. So I want to know, what are you really saying? Because you have to be saying something crazy. There's no way that the stuff you're saying is
Nick,
what
where's your
got you
book?
banned from banks.
Nick, where's your
and stuff.
book?
I don't have a book. Oh,
No,
the book I
The-
showed.
Yes, where's that book?
Which one? The one I showed the other day?
You know the book. The book
There has
that
to
got
be
you
more
banned
to
from
the
banks.
story.
Which one? I don't have it on me. My books are over there.
The
but-
book that got you banned for the banks and the airlines. The book is the reason you're on Cozy TV. The end of every conspiracy theory. That book, like.
I don't have that book. I was telling you about it, but
Oh, okay.
No. Well, the thing
JiDion,
is,
the reason is because if you really go into every conspiracy theory, and I'm not saying I believe in it in Minecraft, but the end of every conspiracy theory is that Jews control everything in Minecraft.
well, that's a big part of it. But here's the thing.
We can just call them the villagers, okay?
Yeah, the villagers.
So guys, let me know in the comments what you think. If you agree or disagree with Nick. Leave a like if you want to. Christ is King. God bless.